the weeks to follow. So we will also explain it to people that if we didn't answer your question on the day, we will still get to it. So you will see there at 11:10, then the important aspect of the panel discussion. So what we want to just make sure that you understand and are clear on, if I can just go to my next slide. Shweta, you might just need to help me. I see I can't move to my next slide.
It's purely on your side. These also just check you made a reshare.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. Got it.
Okay. So what is important is in the yellow on the screen, you will see the reference to 2 links. So the one link is for the live event experience where everybody will be, 1,500 or so of your employees have registered. That is the live experience where everybody will be. And then there is the other link that where you will only come at around 5 to 11, where we would like you to join the studio. It will look exactly like this, what you are seeing now. And as I said earlier, that is like coming backstage at a live event. If we had a live trade show, you would make your way for the panel discussion to backstage, you would get your mic on, and you would walk on stage when it is time for the panel discussion. So very similar in the virtual world. You will exit the live event, click on this link, come here, you will join us. It will look exactly like this. This is the backstage view where Shweta will let you in. And this is where we will meet and gather then for the question and the answer section. As I mentioned, people will be asking questions from the live experience, from the auditorium. You can see there in red on my screen, very much like you would have on MS Teams. There would be a section on the right-hand side of their screen where they are able to post comments and questions. And during the event, we would keep track of those questions that are coming through. I've put 2 questions in there just as examples. What are the group's plans to expand into other sectors or other industries? And how can I learn more about the TTIF business? Just as an example, right? So there might be questions like this coming throughout the course of the morning from 10 o'clock onwards. So when we get to 10:11, we would want to answer a few of these questions. Now, our recommendation was that we agree as a team what are maybe 2 or 3 of the questions that we want to be prepared for, that you want to start with, questions that you are comfortable to answer, that we can be prepared for, right? That we can either plant if they don't come up. So the questions are being posed anonymous, so we can plant them there. Or if they come up, we know we wanted to answer them and we choose them. Shweta, then I just want you to show people how we will pull the question live on screen and how the person that might answer it will look. So if you can just choose, I don't know, Muriel and maybe someone else to just answer a question and how it will appear. Muriel, can I use you just as a test case?
Yeah, sure.
Sure. So I'm just going to remove everybody so you can have this experience.
So you see that Shweta is putting us backstage so that the person that will answer the question will be in full screen mode. Mm-hmm. So as an MC, I will then facilitate to say, Muriel, there's been a number of questions about opportunities to grow in the group, to maybe advance my career further. Do you mind answering those for us? And then Muriel will have a minute or so to answer them. So she will appear then on full size on the live event. The question will be popped up as Shweta just put it there in the navy. The question will actually be typed out there as we saw it. And the speaker's name will appear as well.
Correct. So I'll pop that up as well. Awesome.
Right, then when Muriel has finished answer that question, we will go, thank you very much. We will go to the next question. So I might say, Philippe, there's been a question about expansion into pharmaceuticals or into another sector. Are you willing to answer that question for us? And then up we would pull Philippe, and Philippe would answer the question, etc. We can also have more than one person answering it. So, for example, if you, Akutu-san, for example, maybe you want to join with Marihan, and the two of you want to be on screen to answer a question about AMS and your expansion into Africa, then we could also pull both of you together with that.
Liesel,
Hello,
that's
please go
Marianne.
ahead.
Yeah.
Hello, Marianne, please go ahead.
If I want to raise my hand and say I actually want to answer that, what do I do?
Very good. Very good. I'm glad you're asking that. Do you see studio chat on the left as a type, a comments field? So there you would type.
Yeah, in the studio chat.
I'm typing there so that you can just see. As an example, if you also click on the comments field in the top right-hand corner, comments, this is where the questions will be pulled from. So where we would be able to have a list of the questions being asked. So on the day of the event, if you click on comments in the top right-hand side, that is where the list of questions will be appearing. We are not going to answer all of them. As I said, we've got 10 minutes. So that gives you an opportunity to select the questions that are relevant and strategic and will add value. There's some questions that we must rather take offline. So those we screen out. But that's where we will list them.
Yep. So exactly, I just want to reiterate what Liesel is saying. That chat function you've got on the right-hand pan of your screen, the People tab is the chat that you can use, which means that all of you on this panel will see and can comment to each other. If there's any, like the example we use now with Marianne, you could take the question that's posted in the comments tab and say, I want to answer this one, or I don't want to answer that one, for example, whatever the case may be. So you'd have to use the chat to be able to discuss or share any information you would want, and not have it verbally discussed in the session. Technically, when you're speaking, it means you're speaking live to the auditorium space, to the people that are in the virtual trade show. So I just wanted to clarify that. So the People tab is for this internal chat for all the panel members on this panel. But if you go to the Comments tab, that is where the questions are streaming in from people that are typing in their questions in the auditorium space, and they are feeding into the Comments tab for us to see in this space. Okay.
Shweta, I'm just wondering, sorry, Viviana. Shweta, I'm wondering if Carlene is on the live space. Can we pull a question from Carlene in the live event just to show them how it will pull through?
Sure thing. Sorry, I'm just playing musical chairs here. Give me a second.
So I just want to show you guys how it will appear. Then I also just wanted to highlight, Viviana sent a briefing document to all of you this morning with the 2 links that will be important to you on the day. At the top of the document is Carlene's cell phone number as well as Chanel's cell phone number. So if there's any problem with you accessing this link for the back end, please let us know so that we can just make alternative arrangements. If you're struggling to connect or you've got a Wi-Fi problem or whatever, you can use both their numbers to just advise us. Viviana and myself will play MC, so we might not be able to check our phones the whole time.
I want to also just bring your focus on that document, please, guys, if you can read through it, that the Q&A, as per the agenda, is scheduled from 10 past 11 to 20 past 11, as Liesel mentioned, for 10 minutes, so it's not long. However, please make sure that you are connecting to this link at 10 to 11 to make sure you've got your background sorted. Your cameras have to be on when you're answering a question. And we can do some testing and sound checks, etc., so that we are ready to go by 10 past 11. I just wanted that to be clear.
Liesel, just so that you know, in the comments are the questions that came through from Caroline at the moment.
Right, so you can see if you click on the comments tab in the top right-hand side of your screen, you will see there's some questions that Caroline is on the live end side, on the front end, and she is typing questions in there. So you will see how it's appearing in comments. We will then chat here, discuss which ones to answer. We will let Shweta know, and she will pull them up then as a ticker tape banner on the live screen so that we know which one we're going to answer. Viviana, there was also a suggestion to agree on 2 or 3 questions that we want to really be prepared for and preempt and sort of select to get the conversation going. So I'm not sure if you would like to now use 2 minutes to maybe highlight 1 or 2 of those.
I think I'd like to leave it to the panel, to be honest.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if everybody has had a chance to look at the document that I did send through this morning, but there are some pre-populated questions on that document. And perhaps if any of you have any specific feedback on questions that are a definite no, then we know any similar questions posted on the day, not to choose those. Or if there are questions you are more comfortable with, then we can align and make sure that we try and identify questions through the chats along those lines. So I'm not sure if we can hand back to the panel, if anybody would like to mention or comment on any of those questions provided so far.
I can also pull the document up.
Viviana, just a comment from my side. As far as the leadership vision is concerned, I think an important question that one can lead with is to unpack the view and vision of where is CFAO going. So that's the whole thing around moving towards market leadership and also then growth in new sectors. I think those are 2 things that could be highly interesting for people, although they would have seen it in a lot of the videos and so on. I think that is something as an opener that perhaps Andrew might want to touch on. And we
Absolutely.
can plant a question around that way. Yeah,
Agreed.
the overall strategy.
Yeah.
Andrew, do you agree with that, or am I smoking my socks?
While Andrew is having a look, on the screen is the document that Viviana is referring to. It's a trade show briefing sheet. And on page 2, there are some questions to consider as questions that we want to potentially expect and be ready to answer. So there's some, as Willem is saying, on the overall strategy, the future plans, collaboration, innovation, and technology.
So Liesel, I'm happy with the questions, but I think it's important for anyone else to say if they're not comfortable with anything. So I follow your direction.
I think it's important to note that if there are any definite questions that you do not want to answer, that you maybe just let us know. for any particular reason that might be coming from in your entity, as an example. I'm not sure. That's perhaps sensitive. That are no-go areas. But yes, as mentioned, we're not going to necessarily, we can plant 1 or 2 questions, as Willem suggested, to obviously get the first Q&A going. But if all these questions proposed are acceptable to everybody, then we will obviously scan the questions coming through from the live audience and choose questions that are along the same themes. It's not to say that obviously these will not be the exact questions that we're suggesting people will raise.
Spot
May
on.
I understand that we'll be together with Philip and yourself and possibly Muriel at the same time. And I think we have a common understanding with Carl and Wayne and Richard about which topics are sensitive. I think we'll be able to defend that together with us, in the live stream as well, I think. Yeah.
That sounds good, Andrew. That sounds good. There might also be questions like, I'm anticipating now, right? But there might be questions like, Wayne, in your video, you spoke about expansion of Japanese-based businesses in South Africa. Can you tell us more? So where people refer back to something you said in a video, I would assume that you're comfortable to expand upon it. Obviously, if there's confidential stuff, you would say, Liesel, all we can say at this stage is X, Y, Z, and people must watch the space because there's exciting developments. So don't feel under pressure to answer anything that you feel is not appropriate to share on the public forum.
Yeah, and just to add to that, we must remember that although this is an internal virtual trade show, we must take into consideration that everything that is discussed here might actually go external as well. So that is just the risk mitigation. So things that are not for public consumption, do not discuss it in the Q&A.
Is everybody comfortable with the space, the people chat that you can use whilst we all on this panel discussion, and then the comments tab where the live questions will be coming from? The Teams background, I think everybody has, and the fact your camera has to be on, and just the 2 links that have been shared on this document. Is everyone comfortable with the setup?
Oh, good for me.
Happy.
Great. Okay.
Thank you so much. If there's any other questions, you're so welcome to put it here in the chat, or obviously to drop Viviana, Chanel, myself, Willem, an email. And then please, on the day, if you can just next Tuesday, remember at around 10 to 10 to make your way to this link.
Perfect. Great. If there's no questions, then we can end there. I don't know, anybody have any comments or questions?
All good, thank you.
Thanks, Carl.
I think it's going to be wonderful.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks so much, everybody. Appreciate
You
your
still have
time.
to join the next one.
No. Only for those that will be doing the Q&A in the booth can join the next session. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, thanks everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Cool. Thanks.
The next meeting is on a different link.
Thank you.
Cool.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.